You know, the similarities between Santa and how most people think of God are endless. Most people think of God as pretty much Santa in the sky. Because, you know, Santa lives very far away. He is irrelevant to the vast majority of our lives. He doesn't really ever show up, not that we see, but actually we're not really sure we want him to show up. You know, we want what he gives us, but we'd rather he didn't pull up a chair at the dinner table and share our turkey, would we? That would be weird. You know, we probably don't want Santa to stay at Christmas, do we? Frankly, I'm nervous about what Santa might do after a couple of glasses of red wine, aren't you? I mean, he might have a few ho-ho-hos, but I think push beneath that, I think he's a deeply creepy individual, don't you think? Santa is a very odd kind of person, and nobody actually wants a personal relationship with Santa, do they? We just send him our requests, and hopefully, if we've been good enough, he'll give us the stuff that we want. But we don't want him, do we? That's Santa. But it's also most people's view of God, isn't it? You know, he's a distant, mostly irrelevant, possibly jolly, but not particularly personable dispenser of stuff. You know, that's Santa, and that's what most people think God is like. But you know the worst thing about Santa? I'll get into my stride here. You know the worst thing about Santa? He is a big old legalist, isn't he? He's making a list. He's checking it twice. He's going to find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. Santa Claus is coming. And children are terrified, aren't they? That was this photograph. Where is it? This one. That's pretty much every photograph with Santa, isn't it? Children don't want to spend any time with Santa. They don't want to spend any time with Santa. They just want his stuff, don't they? And then he knows if you've been bad or good. I love this one. Define good. But Santa is a distant, mostly irrelevant, big old legalist. And while the propaganda tells us that Santa is generous, giving gifts to all the children of the world, actually he doesn't give gifts, does he? He gives rewards. He gives performance-related Christmas bonuses. That's all he gives. And it's not the overflow of Santa's generous heart. It's part of a global performance-based conspiracy with the parents of the world to keep children moral. Okay? That's precisely what people think Santa is, and it's precisely what people think God is. God is a big Santa in the sky, a mostly irrelevant, distant, impersonal legalist who's always watching. He might give you some stuff if you're good, but he doesn't give you himself. You want his things, maybe. You certainly don't want him. That's how people think of God, isn't it? And against all that nonsense, verse 6 resounds. Have a look at verse 6. Here's what the living God is really like. For to us a child is born. To us a son is given. Here is the heart of Christmas. You know, God is nothing like the Santa in the sky. He doesn't give us stuff from a distance. He gives us his Son. Jesus comes himself as God's Christmas present to the world. The gift of Christ is not stuff. The gift is himself in person. You know, Santa gives rewards and then leaves. All the gods of human religions might give you rewards if you're good enough, and then they'll leave. Jesus comes and he stays to be God with us. We are given God's beloved Son. He doesn't want to be a distant benefactor. You know, like the emperor sort of tossing bread out of the carriage to the peasants. There, have some stuff, have some... No, he sends him, his very heart and soul, he sends his Son into the world to be with us